a new identity is coming. I don't know what's coming next. My old life just doesn't feel aligned anymore. So what's next? And just maybe gently ask yourself, where are you actually, stomping your feet into the ground and resisting the stream? Where are you actually stomping your feet into the ground because you're afraid that you don't know what's going to come next and because you're actually not really surrendered? Hello and welcome back to the Deep Rooted Self-Love Podcast. I'm Nora. I'm a hypnotherapy practitioner, self-love coach, and a mother. This is a space for exploring how the relationship we have with ourselves shapes every part of our lives, from the way we love, connect, and parent to how we show up in our friendships, family, and even our work and dreams. With this podcast, I hope to support you in building deep-rooted self-love, taking up space, and live a life and relationships that truly feel aligned with who you are. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I'm wishing you a great start into the weekend. And I hope you see spring slowly blossoming. I know here in England, we're slowly having all the flowers come out, and we can slowly be more outside, and the air is just getting a bit gentler on your skin, on your system. I even went on a run the other day. If you have listened to my last podcast episode, you probably know that there has been some huge shifts for me of shifting more into motherhood, of baking bread every week, of being in the garden, of doing this podcast, but of ultimately pausing on my coaching business. And that has been such a identity shift, and that has been coming for the past months, basically since I was pregnant, I would say, with my first son, my only son. I don't know why I said first son. But what I'm learning from that, because I had so many people on Instagram vote on a story that I made that they need support with purpose and identity. And I feel like oftentimes people will ask me okay, Nora, what can I do? Give me the journaling prompts, give me the step-by-step process on how I can get into that next identity, because I know what I'm doing right now is not right for me anymore. Maybe it's living in the city, maybe it is your corporate job, maybe it is your marriage. Maybe those are all your old identities that you feel like you're shifting out of, but you don't know what's coming next. And what I notice with people is actually that their fears of not knowing what next actually keeps them from stepping into the next identity. And I truly believe that oftentimes it's not about finding those step-by-step processes. It's really actually just about allowing life to happen and allowing yourself to be in the stream of life, not being passive. You're still in it, you're still making sure that you're not bumping against the sides and against rocks and all that stuff, but you're just allowing yourself to be led by life. And I think going back to that stream metaphor, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know where this stream is taking me, so I'm going to just push against it, but I also can't go back to my old ways. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to be scared and fight against it and then try to control the situation, when really, I really believe so many of us are just needing to surrender in this phase of life. And if I think of the identity shifts that I've gone through over the last 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years, so much of it has been from just checking in with my body, feeling how do I feel, what does need to shift, what are the small things that need to shift, and then just allowing that to take me further. And so how that would look like for me would be, for example, okay, I took on clients again after 4 months of my baby being born. And then I realized, okay, there's actually too many clients that I'm working with. So I started working with less clients. Then I was like, okay, it's too much just being there for other people, because as many of you know, as a mother, most of what you do is be there for this tiny little human or multiple tiny little humans. And I was like, okay, I need some creative outlet. So let me focus on my podcast more. And slowly I started making those shifts. I mean, another identity shift, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we moved from the city to the UK countryside and we're loving it. But that was also a process of a year ago or so, I started saying, I don't want to live in Berlin anymore. I don't really feel right here anymore. My husband wasn't ready yet. He had to make some shifts with work, or like it didn't make sense for him to leave Berlin at the time. I felt like I didn't want to be in Europe anymore, which is kind of funny because we're now out of the EU at least. I just wanted something different. I really felt at some point I wanted to go to South Africa, and literally, I still remember Nico and I speaking to my one of my best friends when we visited her in Barcelona, and we were like, we're moving to South Africa. It's decided. We're moving to South Africa. And we thought, okay, this is 100% decided. But then live stream gave us new information. And I think that's really what it's about, is just doing the next step so life can give you more information, or honestly, like just not being in the way of life giving you information and things becoming clear. And then we just realized that with a baby, we just didn't want to be in South Africa. We learned more about the situation there, and it was just not the right fit for what we wanted. But like what we wanted out of South Africa was this like feeling of like having lots of nature around, but still having like a cool community of people. And honestly, that's what we have now in the English countryside, because if you're listening to this and you're from Germany, English countryside is very different than German countryside, especially the German countryside around Berlin. Like, I don't know a lot of cool, open-minded people living in the German countryside. Whereas here, I've met so many amazing moms and women and dads as well. I don't know why I'm just talking about parents, but I guess that's the era that I'm in right now. Like, there's kirtans in the English countryside. Like, how fucking cool is that? Maybe I don't know the German countryside enough, but at least I haven't heard of any of that, especially not for people my age. But what I'm trying to say is, like, let this be your gentle reminder to just allow yourself to follow the stream of life and not be in the way of it, and maybe question where in your life right now. So maybe you're the kind of person that's like, if you clicked on this, you're probably the kind of person that's like, okay, a new identity is coming. I don't know what's coming next. My old life just doesn't feel aligned anymore. So what's next? And just maybe gently ask yourself, where are you actually, stomping your feet into the ground and resisting the stream? Where are you actually stomping your feet into the ground because you're afraid that you don't know what's going to come next, and because you're actually not really surrendered? And where can you surrender more in your life? And honestly, that's all I want to leave you with today, because I truly believe big identity shifts and true, authentic, embodied identity shifts, they take time. Like, I've done it before where I'd be from one day to the next, like, I'm going to be a person that dresses like this now. And I would try on different identity. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe you need to try on different identities. You see someone on Instagram and you're like, they're living their life like this, or they're dressing like this. I'm going to dress like this now. But my experience is that that's just something to try on and try out to then be shifted again, because things just don't move that quickly. That's coming from the head. That's not coming from the heart and the body. And the true integration and the true surrender that comes from the heart and the body, I believe, really comes with time and with surrender, really, and with feeling into your heart and just taking one step at a time. This is most of what I have to say to you today, is try to not force into a new identity that you don't even know which one it is yet, and instead just allow yourself to smoothly float into that new version of yourself, trusting that if you just listen to your heart, listen to what's exciting for you, listen to what's not exciting for you, what makes you contract in your chest, that you will smoothly float into the next version of yourself. I really believe those big rock bottoms, those heavy divorces, those breakups, being let off of work, I really believe that comes when the universe is just mega trying to shift us into the next version that we need to go to. And oftentimes, not to like shame anyone, but oftentimes because we just hadn't actually been listening to what's true and where life actually smoothly is trying to get us to. So the easiest way to smoothly flow into the next identity, into next chapter of life, is really by just listening to your heart and listening to the guidance of the universe, listening to those little nudges of what feels right and what feels wrong in your heart. That's all for today. It's a short podcast episode, but I still hope that it's going to land well with you and that it's going to really just help you smoothly float into that next version of yourself. And again, where are you stomping your feet into the ground and resisting? Where are you actually feeling that something is not right for you anymore, but you're so caught up in your head, you're so caught up in your fears, you're so caught up in controlling mode that you can't actually just listen to that, opening your heart and just trusting that. And I know it's not easy. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but I really believe that's the way. And then also, I know I didn't want to give step-by-step processes, but this is one that I still think is important, is like, how can you regulate your nervous system so that you can actually feel those truths, right? When you're just on, and you're just in fear mode and you're just in your old wounds without healing them, it's kind of hard to be able to flow with the river, right? Because you're ultimately just going crazy. So I really believe it's so helpful to go on long walks, move your body, meditate, live a mindful life. Maybe don't watch TV for a while, maybe delete Instagram for a while, to really come into your own truth and not into programming, into acting out of fear, into feeling the pressure of having to make a decision now and have to make this big change now, and instead just trusting that if you allow and if you surrender, everything's going to happen exactly the way it's supportive for you. If you do like this podcast, the best way for you to help me grow with my podcast and with my next identity, if you're listening to this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. Or if you are listening to this on a podcast platform, you can just follow the podcast, give me a 5-star review, or as well, always send it to a friend that you feel like could benefit from this topic. Okay, that's it for me. I'm sending you so much love. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak to you again next week.